Hello guys, KP here with a new video for Path of Exile, and in this video I'm going to show you guys a generic build that works for Marauders. So if you see this game or you play this game for the first time, it can be overwhelming, but there are a lot of things that are always the same if you want to play a Marauder build, and I'm going to show you guys that. So I'm going to just show you guys a new build. And I'm going to say to you guys why I take certain stuff. Because there are some things that you always need to try to achieve in a build, like cap your resistance, very important. Get some auras, that's very important too. Get armor on a Marauder. So I will show you guys from the start until the end what I'm doing. I'm just going to make blindly a build. That's what I'm going to do. So let's get started. So first of all, you need to get Path of Building. If you don't got it, just download it. Just go to Google, push Path of Building, and you get this screen. This is very handy. You can make a build before you go to the game. Just check out what is a DPS, put skills in it, put items in it, and you can see your DPS. Is it going to work before you do it in the game? So when we started to play this game 10 years ago, we didn't have all that stuff. So we needed to use a lot of regret orbs, try things out in the game. Now it's a lot simpler those days. So let's get started. So it's a little bit like chess playing. If you do it a lot making builds, at some point you know, I need to take this, then you take this, then you take this, because it's always the same in most of the Marauders build. So let's get started. So you take here at the top a Marauder, and the opening for the most builds, you can take now 10 builds on the YouTube, they will all do this opening. So you go to here, you go to Warrior's Blood, you go to Heart of the Warrior, and you take this. This is an opening that most of the people will take. So very generic, take that, that's the best that you can do. Then the next step. So then most builds go to the right. So you take here clusters and you take here clusters. So you come to here. This is a very good note if you are a two-hander. If you want to play with a two-hander, take that at the start. Then you come to this cluster. This is for the resistance. You can take this one. If you click in the middle, you can take a mastery. And I would take this one. Corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Later you can get it on the jewel, but at the start you don't have that. Because this is going to kill you. Then you come here, and here you got a well-known skill that most of the Marauder players know. It's Unwavering Stance. Unwavering Stance is something that you cannot ignore. At the start of the game, it's not a problem if you're leveling, but the first time that you come to a map and you don't have this and you get stunned, and you get the next time stunned, and the next time you get stunned, and the third time you die. That's because you don't have this. So take this. What is this going to do? Cannot evade enemy attacks. So, but that's not a problem because most of the time we are armor based and not evasion, and you cannot get stunned. Take this one. Then we take the jewel, and if you want to get life, you go to the life wheel. This is the life wheel. So you just do this. If you need later on a little bit of life, you take life. Then you go here to the right, and here is a new cluster and a really good one. This is very important too. You need to leech mana. If you don't do that, this is something that a lot of people do wrong. So you start the game, you got a mana potion, but sometimes your mana is gone. And guess what? On that moment, that means that your DPS is gone too. So take this one. You can take here the increased mana reservation too. Because it's good for the auras, but that's something for later, but just take it. Then we go to this cluster. This is good. Art of the Warrior, a lot of life here too. And then you need to choose. If you want to go a two-hander, you go this. If you got a shield, you go this. If you got a one-hander, you go this. I'm going two-handing, and this is a note that most of the builds go to. Golem's Blood, you just take this jewel, you take this extra maximum endurance charge, and you take this frenzy. Like this. So that's something that a lot of people take too. And then I need to check. Then we go most of the time down here. We go here and we take this. So this is a lot of life too. You will find this cluster in most of the Marauder builds too. And then Fortify. Fortify is very important. Fortify is straight on giving 20% less damage taken. You will find it in every build too. That is a Marauder. And with these nodes, so you can take those nodes. It's not important that you take them, but the mastery is important. So you can see here that melee hits Fortify. You got -3 to the maximum. But this is going to give you Fortify really easy. So take this. So that's done. So you can see it here. That's most of the time what we take. Then you go here to the left. And now we are going to those nodes. And here you can take just the leech from life, because that's important too. Life leads. At the start it's not that important because your DPS is not high enough to leech enough life. You will use a life loss. But later on, you need to have this. Always have mana leech and life leech. I know you can get it on jewels too. You can get it on cluster jewels. You can get it everywhere. But just take this node at the start. It's going to make life a little bit easier. DPS goes up. You can get rid of just playing piano on the life flask and all that stuff. So just do it. Then we go here, Juggernaut, all-time one. Most of the time we take it the entire time. You take this one, Jewel. You take this one, Endurance Shards extra. Then this one, an all-timer Barbarism, but still good. And then you come here. So you can see here, if you make your first Marauder build, you're probably not going to take a crit one. So you take Resolute Techniques. So Resolute Techniques, that means your hits cannot be evaded. So you always hit, but you never do critical strike. This is what a lot of starting players take, Resolute Technique. And then you can choose what you take. So if you take a Maul as main weapon, you can take those nodes. If you want to have an axe, you take those nodes. If you want to have a sword, you take those nodes. And now it's done. So this is 82 points. This is something that you will see a lot coming back in most of the Marauder builds. So if you do this, you already got most of your points. And you will have Fortify, you got Mana Leech, you got Life Leech. You're immune to Corrupted Blood. You got already a nice amount of life. And that's what you need to have. So just check this and you're okay. So now it's time to get some skills in. So this is empty. I'm going to take a slam skill. One that I'm going to play in the new league is Earthshatter. So you just get Earthshatter. You can go Ground Slam, Thunder Cleave. If you want to see all the melee attacks, just go to Google melee skills in Path of Exile and you will get a list. So I'm going to play Earthshatter. So you take Earthshatter, and the maximum links that you can have in this game is 6. So you got the main skill, and then you just link supported skills to it. So I like melee, physical damage, always comes back. Most builds got this. Another one that is coming a lot of time back is... let me have a look. Yeah, I got at the moment a little bit. Is Brutality. Here it is. I couldn't remember the name. Be sure that you put this on 20, because we take 20 quality. So this is one that you see a lot coming back, because this is going to make all your attacks physical. Why physical? Physical is a lot easier than elemental, because most bosses on maps don't have resistance to physical damage. Therefore, you will see, therefore I never play elemental builds. Elemental builds, you need to do so much damage to kill even map bosses in tier 16. Therefore, I always go physical. That's why you see, if you see a physical build that got 3 million DPS, and if you see an elemental build that got 3 million DPS, and you see them doing a tier 60 map, it takes them a longer time to kill the boss of that map. That's because of that. So I always take Brutality on my skills for the simple reason that physical, it's harder to scale, but it's going, if you scale it right, you will kill a lot faster enemies. Then the next one, what can you put on it? Multi-strike is a very good one, but not so good on Earthshatter. And by the way, what can you see here? You can, if you hover over it, you can see the DPS that it's going to do too. So if I take now multi-strike and you come here, you see the DPS that this is going to do. But what is a good one? Ruthless is a very good one at the start. That's one that a lot of people take too. Another one, Fist of Fire is good for the slams. So the game is just giving them to you, what you can link to it. And then the last one, let me have a think. What I take perforate. That's something that or pulverize. That's a good one too. For the area of effect, a lot of area of effect is good. You kill shit a lot faster. So let's take this one, and now this is done. So my Earthshatter is now okay. You will see here now the damage that I'm doing. It's still low. But my Earthshatter, I got now a skill, and I can now kill enemies. And then the next one, what are we doing a lot too? We are using auras. What are auras that are coming back a lot? Pride is one of them. Determination is one of them too. You need to use Determination on a Berserker and a Chieftain. On a Juggernaut you don't need to use that, but otherwise you will die. Determination works really well with Molten Shell. Molten Shell is something that you will find in 99% of the Marauder builds too, because it's so good. It's going to save your life many times. Another thing that you see a lot, blood and sand. Not a lot of reservation, a lot of DPS more. Flesh and stone is one of them. And then you can go for Herald of Purity too. That's one that a lot of people use too. So that are I think, the 5 most used auras for Marauder. You cannot use them all at the same moment, because you see now, I don't have the mana for it. So they are going, you got 100% mana, and Pride is going to reserve 50% of that mana. If you got more than 100, yeah, you don't have any more mana. Always remember that, but I want to show them to you guys. So I'm going to take this and this one. This is the one that I'm going to use. And what we do most of the time is we get an Enlightened on it. So here you see it. What is Enlighten going to do? So Enlighten, you can see reservation multiplier 92%. So if you link it to your auras, Pride 50%, so 92% of 50, it's going to lower the mana reservation. I think it's around 45%. Therefore, we always link an Enlighten on the auras. Standard, you will see it once again in a lot of builds. Okay, the auras are okay now. Now we are going to talk about the mobility. A mobility, Leap Slam. Leap Slam is the way to go. You put some faster attack gem on it to jump a lot faster like a rabbit. And then you can put a life tap on it. Life tap is going to consume life instead of mana. Very standard once again. Then the next one. So I already told you guys about the Molten Shell. A Molten Shell is something that comes back a lot of time. So put it in, put a Val Molten Shell in it. At the start, a normal one is good too. Here we go. So you guys can see it here. It's going to make a shell. And if you get hit, the hits are going to absorb first the shell. And it depends on the amount of armor that you got. So we put it on a key. If we see, oh, this is a hard boss, we are going to die, we pop it. So that's generic in almost every build too. Then the next step, something that comes a lot back too. This is an old one too. So you take Blood Rage. What is Blood Rage? So Blood Rage is a spell. And you will get 25% chance to gain a Frenzy charge. Frenzy endurance charges are very important for Marauders. It's going to let you hit faster and move faster. And it's going to Life Leech too. So if you got this, you don't need anymore the one on the tree. But this is a one. But it's a spell. The problem is you don't have the time to always push it when it's off cooldown. So you just put a cast when damage on it. And what is cast when damage going to do? So cast when damage, if you take a certain amount of damage, it will cast the linked spell. So this is automatically. So you run around, you get hit, you get blood rage. Very simple, that's it. Then the next step, one that you see a lot too, is vulnerability on the ring. So vulnerability is very strong. You put it on a ring, and yeah, it's just if you hit enemies, you get it. That's how it works. And then the last one, I think, are cries. Cries are used a lot too, and the cries that always come back are those ones. So you just put here cry. So you got Enduring Cry. Then you got the next one is Sesame Cry for more AoE. And I think for the double too, or is that another one? No, this is for the area of effect. Very strong in this game. And then the last one is it this one? The double one? Yeah, Intimidate. This is one that comes back. You just put life tap once again on it and you're done. So you can play piano the entire time. It's going to make your attacks stronger. I'm not going to talk about exerted attacks and all that stuff. That's not needed. But that's something that we take. They are there, the cries, just take them, make the build stronger. You just need to push a little bit more buttons, but it's going to save your life. Or more AoE or more damage. It's really good. So put a life tap on it once again, that you use life instead of mana, and that's it. So now we got the build. Now you can play. So you can see it. This is most of the things. I need to think for a brief moment. We got the mobility, the auras, blood rage vulnerability, the cries, and we got our main skin. You can take what you want. If you put now Sunder here, you play Sunder. If you like Sweep, you put Sweep in it. Like I said, it will work for everything. It's generic. So it will work for everything. And now the next step is the items. So you click here on items. So you can play with the maul, you can play with the two-handed axe, one-handed axe, a shield, it does not matter. So I'm going to put a two-handed axe in it because that's the most TPS. So you just click here at the bottom. You take a two-handed axe. And the funny part is they already got axes that are good for Marauders. That's really nice of Path of Building. So we are going to take this one. So you can see physical damage, add physical damage, increase attack speed. That's what you need to have. I made a video about it, how you need to do that at the start of the game. I'm not going to into depth, you just add it to the build and now we got a weapon. You already can see with the generic build we got already 140,000 damage. So that's not bad because we don't have any other equipment. And now for all the other equipment it's always the same. So now we are going to work towards more life. We are going to work to cap the resistance here because they are still red. If you see red in Path of Building, that's bad. You need to fix that. So the resistance, that's something very important. You need to have 75%. If you don't have that, you will be killed like a bitch the entire time. You die in non-stop. Take that from me. That's what I see. Still a lot of new players go to mapping. I died the entire time. And then you see them linking their Path of Building. And they got something like this. So this is the main priority. Cap it. Try to cap chaos resistance too. It's not simple because it's expensive. But be sure that its chaos resistance is above 0. And all the other ones 75. So the helmet. So helmet. Here we go. This is a good one. So once again, they put life on it. Life is important. Armor is important. And then for the suffixes, you can't just take fire. You just take cold. I'm going to take 2 of them because they are still payable. 3 resistance on one item is too much. You need to pay too much for it. So add this to the build. And you see this already going up. So we are doing a very good job at the moment. So then the next one is the body armor. Astral Plate is most of the time the way to go. Why? You can see it here. It got an explicit. What is an explicit? This is an explicit. Here, this one. So you will find always the percentage to elemental resistance. Therefore, it's very popular by Marauders. So once again, armor, maximum life, and let's put fire here once again on. And let's put gold on it. Here we go. And here we can put a little bit chaos resistance on too. So add it to the build. You already can see fire and gold is already above 0%. Then the gloves. For gloves, I always go spy gloves. Always. Why? For this reason. Gloves. So the spy gloves, they got an explicit of increased melee damage. Therefore, they are so popular. So you get a DPS in boost. So just take it once again, and guess what we are going to get on this resistance. Now it's time to get a little bit more lightning. We can put here a little bit more chaos on too if you want. You can add physical damage on these two and add attack speed too. That's very good on these two. But I'm going to stay with just the core. So attack speed is very good on this one too. But what do we need? The chaos one. Okay, here we go. Add to the build. So now you can already see those are already out of the red. Then for the boots. The boots is something very special. Because in this game, I like Titan Greaves. In this game, movement speed is very important. And boots got movement speed. Try to get the maximum 30% on it. The more speed you got, the faster you go. That's very simple, but it's very important. We are going to put, once again, resistance on it, lightning on it. So let's take tier 3. Yeah. Then we are going to get some chaos on it too. Here we go. And let's do it like this. How much do we still got? Okay, that's good. And then for the amulet. The amulet, I always take a turquoise. Why turquoise? So you will find it here, if I'm not mistaken, under... is it jewelry? Let me have a look that I can find it. Here it is. And here you will find the turquoise. Why the turquoise? Because turquoise got explicit dexterity and intelligence. That's something that you will use. So blood rage needs dexterity. Your enlighten needs intelligent. It's a nice source for dexterity and intelligence, because on the side of the tree that we are sitting, there is not a lot of dexterity and intelligence. Therefore, I always take this one. So what do you need on this? So you can get life once again on it. So here you can see it. You get add physical damage is very good too. And then once again, guess what? The resistance. So what do we still need? So for fire we need 30. So let's take 30 or a little bit above. Then we need cold resistance, still need to have a lot. And then we are going to get the lightning too. Let's get lightning here. Here we go. So where we are at the moment. So cold, so fire and lightning is already kept. Then the next, the rings. The rings are just the same again. So at the start, what is a very popular base? That's this. So I'm going to the rings. So we are going to take coral rings. Why? They give explicit more maximum to life. And later on, you will go to vermilion rings. So you will see a lot of builds using this one. But I'm going with the coral ring. Once again, life. You can add physical damage on these two. It'll be the same like the amulet. The strength is not really needed. And then for the suffixes, once again, resistance. So we still need to cap cold. And we still need to cap chaos. So let's put some chaos on it. Here. So we add this and we just take the same ring. Here we go. And then for the build, you can see already kept everything. Very, very low level gear, by the way. Then the next one is the belt. So I'm going to type here build. So you will see there are two belts that are always very popular. That is first the rustic sash. This is going to give an increased physical damage. And is a leather belt. A little bit later, you will go to the Stygian Vice. because you can socket the gem in it. But it depends what you need. If you want to get a little bit more life or DPS, so we are going just to take the leather build to get a little bit more life. What can you get on this armor? You can get, I like armor on it, to stack a little bit more armor. And of course the resistance once again. I'm going to put here Chaos on. Let's put 35, that's a tier 1, but I want to cap it. Here we go. So now everything is capped. So that's it. Very simple, and you already can see we already got 160,000 damage too on the Earth Shatter. So just with this very simple gear that is very accessible. Now I'm going to talk about the flasks. The flasks are very important too. So I would always take a life flask and one that is going to remove bleeding. So you will find it here. So here you can see it. I already put it in. So a life flask grants immunity to bleeding for 12 seconds if used while bleeding. So if you got bleed, bleed is not the same like corrupted blood. They are separate dots. So be sure that you take that. Very important. So add that to the build. And you will get life from it. Another very popular is the Quicksilver. The Quicksilver is going to give you 40% movement speed. You will see it in every build too. So this is the movement speed. You see 70% movement speed. Another very good one is a grenade one. For sure if you play Chieftain or Berserker, because they don't have Ascendancy nodes that give armor. A Juggernaut got more than enough armor. So just this one for more armor. So we are going to add this to the build, and you see here now the armor. If you take this one, you go to 15,000. Combination with the Molten Shell, very good. Physical damage reduction is almost 90, so that's really good. So very important, physical damage will kill you. And then a last one, that's a unique one, that is used many times. That's Lion's Roar. That's one that is very popular too. So you can see it here, very easy accessible. Where is it, this one? So it's giving armor. The knockback is not so good, I think, later on in the game. And it's going to give straight on add physical damage to your attacks. So just put this in. Here we go, add to build. And this one, I got 2 times the Quicksilver. So if you put this on, you will get more damage. So that's something that you see a lot coming back. If you go crit, you get the diamond one. You can get the diamond here too. You can get the silver one too here. Silver one is very important. It's going to give you onslaught, but I cannot show you guys it. So put the silver in slot number 5. Onslaught is very strong too. It's a very good skill. One that comes back all the time. But I cannot get Silver Flask here, or I overlooked it. And then for the jewels. So jewels, once again, because we got on the 1, 2, 3 spots where you can stack a jewel. So a jewel, you can get 4 stats on it. And what I like on my jewels is once again life. So we are going to craft the jewels. You can... yeah, here. Come on, game. The jewels, you just take Crimson Jewel, I think. And then you just put life on it. Here we go. Melee damage is really good. That's something that I like a lot. Increased melee damage. And then add physical damage or physical damage. Let me have a look. Can I get it this way? Increased physical damage. So that's something live. If you need to cap your resistance still, or you don't have the gear, you can get resistance here too. So like 10 for fire and lightning or something. We add this to the build. We put the jewel 3 times here. And here we go. So we are done. So you guys can now see. So we got 4,366 life. 5,000 is really good. All the resistance are kept. We got 200,000 TPS. And with the spikes, 150,000. So you're doing, let's say, 500,000 DPS. And this will work. If you do this, you can do what you want. And you got a very good start at the game. You got Mana Leech, you got Life Leech, Immune to to bleed, immune to corrupted blood. So that will work really well. So you can configure it a little bit. So if you want to see how much damage you do with Frenzy, you take this one. Onslaught, you can put this on. You see your damage, therefore is Onslaught so good. Here we go. You got Fortify too, so your effective hit pool is getting bigger. And that's it a little bit. So you can put your endurance charges on too. Did I already do it? So this is it. So perfect, you will not die to stupid stuff now. With this setup, you can do right away maps, by the way. So that's not a problem. You got enough mana that you can use for all the skills. You got the Warcries, so that's very, very good what you got here. So that was it a little bit. I was thinking about something else. Yeah, I almost forgot. So the Ascendancy. Shifts, then I don't know. But what are Ascendancy that are very good? I like to play a Juggernaut because I'm a very bad player. Technically, I'm not a good player. I die a lot. Therefore, you see me rarely playing something different than a Juggernaut. A Juggernaut is like a Labrador, the dog. You get a second chance in teaching stuff. With most other Ascendancy, you don't have that because you're dead. So what is a very good one? I like this one a lot, if you go crit. This one is very good too. So if you take Unstoppable, you don't need Unwavering Stance. So we are going to take here the Juggernaut. So this is a one that I take a lot. Then you can take this one. Very good. You get an extra endurance charge. This is a big one too. Right away, double armor. Molten Shell is going to go a lot higher. You can go this way or you can go this way. If you want to get a little bit more DPS, you take this. This is the way. You don't need the determination with the Juggernaut. You can just take Pride, Blood and Sand, Flesh and Stone. So this is a good one that you can take. Works really good with Resolute techniques. If you go for the Berserker, you then take this one. So this is one that is very popular. Simply set 40% more DPS. Berserker is going to do more DPS than the Jugger, but it's less tanky. If you want to go the Rage way, this one. What is this, by the way? Is this good? No. If you want to go for Cries, you can take this one. Not going into deal. This is really good. Rage, Warcry, just straight on DPS. If you want to go the crit way, you need to take this one. Here. So that's how you do it. That was it for the video, guys. It was a long video, but I wanted to show you guys everything. So if you do that, if you start Friday and you got a Marauder, and you just watch 25 build guides with endgame and you still are very insecure, just do this. It will work every time. You will get easily to maps. And then you still got 40 points. And then if you're a little bit better at the game and you know what cluster jewels are, rage and all that stuff, you can start putting stuff into this build. So work a little bit on the Warcry, buff the Warcries, go to the rage. If you got a war banner, you can buff that a little bit. So you can go more into detail. But now, this is generic. Thanks for watching. Have fun. See you guys in next video. Bye-bye.